What is up, woke family? It's your boy Wokey Bucks, and I'm back again with another live stream. This woman wants to be disrespectful. All right, let's do it.
He's aligning relationships on surface things versus grounding them.
So you're saying, let's start off by saying that you're claiming that Kevin Samuels is aligning things on surface things. Please explain how.
In the depths of our spirit.
That made me think about Kevin Samuels.
Why? Why do you think about Kevin Samuels?
In terms,
Pay attention to her body language once he brings up once he brings up the name of Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace. Look how triggered she automatically gets once she hears this man's name being spoken about. That just goes to show you.
in terms of what I think I wasn't subscribed. So for the record, I wasn't one of his.
I was gonna say, you better put a disclaimer quick.
I'm not one of his followers. But when I do talk to people that have been in tune with his messaging, it does seem from the outside he was trying to, I guess, what's the word? Balance out the criticism.
And this is the crazy part. Like when people disagree in general, especially women, bro, they start to act very childish. And what do I mean by childish? Look at her facial expressions, right? Because she disagrees with you, she wants to make certain facial expressions just to make her point seem like it's more valid than yours. Understand this one thing. No one's telling Miss Amanda Seals that you have to agree with what this man is saying, but at least respect the fact that what he's saying has a point. Even if you disagree. Even if you disagree about anything he's saying, especially when it comes to Kevin Samuels, at least respect the fact that he's making a point. But when you speak, you want people to accord you that same exact respect, right? Come on now, let's really talk about it. Let's really be honest.
Kind of even the playing field.
Is that what he was trying to do?
In hindsight of men who, let me put this right. Black.
I want to add this one quick thing, because this is what I see a lot of black women and women in general do. Especially when you're coming into a man's space, the manosphere, you generally tend to take one piece of a video, like a clip of that video, and you run with it instead of doing your own research, instead of getting the transcript, instead of doing your own full-on research to figure out what the message behind what that man was saying is. And you realize that when you do that, you fail to understand the message completely. You only understand what you want to understand instead of seeing it for what it truly is. You really got to work on that. I'm telling you, it's not only her, but I'm saying people in general, especially women. Let's continue, man.
Men, we are raised in a matriarch society.
You're not raised in a matriarchal society, though. That's false.
I mean,
no, it's true. We definitely are. Because if we're raised in a patriarchal society, you would have a lot more masculine men. You have a lot of emotional weak men that try to use or that try to make up for the lack of masculinity with adding a more emotional aspects into it. We definitely are raised in a matriarchal society. That's a fact.
Just because you're raised by a woman doesn't mean you're raised in a matriarchal society.
In our community, I was raised by a single mother.
In a patriarchal society.
Okay. But in my experience, this is my experience.
No, but I'm telling you, like, your experience doesn't change the society that we're in.
Okay.
Even though you were raised by a woman, she's raising you within a patriarchal frame.
You can claim that she's raising him within a patriarchal society, but the reality is that when it comes to a lot of double standards in this society, who do they benefit more than the other? They benefit women, right? Correct. They benefit women more. So if they're benefiting women, how does that make it a patriarchal society? The society in which we're living in is supposed to benefit one person or another. If it's patriarchal, it's going to benefit men. It's not. It benefits women. Now, granted, this is a society that men built 100%. You're right about that, if that's the point that you're trying to make. But the reality is that doesn't mean that we're living in a patriarchal society. Especially when it comes to domestic violence cases, for example, right? There could literally be a whole domestic violence case and one person has to leave the house that night. More likely than not, it's going to be the man. The man has to suffer at the hands of the woman, especially if they get into some type of dispute. And you already know the man majority of the time isn't going to put his hands on the woman. The woman's going to try to bait the man by putting her hands on him. And then you expect all men to not retaliate. Like, this is one thing I want to advise women that think that it's okay to put your hands on a man. Understand that just because you do it and you think that your man might not retaliate does not mean that every single man you encounter isn't going to put hands back on you. Stop believing that you can put your hands on a man and you won't be touched. Trust and believe you will be touched, especially by a dude that does not have a lot of control. Not trying to shame him, but I'm saying in general, right? There are going to be certain men out there that are going to try the hell out of you. Stop putting your hands on men. Stop putting your hands on people in general. You can communicate without having to get physical. Now, if you have to, hey, it is what it is. But if you can avoid it by all costs, avoid it 100%. Let's continue.
Fair. Let me try to express.
Women aren't like she wasn't raising you within a space where women are leaders that are revered and like that you should aspire. Like that's not what we're in.
I'm just laying up what I think these brothers are coming from.
Fair. Okay. Okay.
Not me. I'm not.
Okay.
And I think that
I despise them.
I think that those brothers who don't maybe have the strongest self-esteem or the strongest awareness of how to lead a woman in a healthy way, at times maybe felt pushed to the side, felt discredited because they didn't have a certain status. And I think with a guy like Kevin Samuels, they gravitated towards him because he was now holding women accountable more than we've ever really seen it. It wasn't delivered the best.
Look at her facial expression. She doesn't like, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say, because there's a lot of women out there that behave like this. You might not like what a man is telling you, but the reality is that he's telling you that so that you can work on yourself, that you can improve, you can become the best version of yourself. That just goes to show you that there's a huge, significant difference between men and women. Men, whether you're an emotional man or you're not an emotional man, right? Like whether you're a feminine man or whether you're a masculine man, whatever. We all as men, probably 90 to 95% of us as men understand that we live in a fact-based reality. You have to bring some type of value to the marketplace for you to get respect. You don't bring value, you don't gain respect. You don't bring value, you get no respect. Women, it's different. They believe that, oh, I just have to show up and that dude is going to be there for me. Or people are going to be here for me. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to put in any type of work. That's cap. Clip it if you want to clip this part. That's cap. That's cap. Women live in delusion, bro. They don't live in reality. They try to come across as politically correct, and then from there, when you as a man try to correct that, oh yeah, you're a misogynist, you're a sexist, da 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 da. Nah, bro. We live in reality because we've been told as little boys turning into men, we have to provide value. We don't provide value, you don't gain respect. That's what it is. That's what it is. Your goal is to gain respect. You can't gain respect if you don't bring value to the marketplace. Now, with that being said, the way she's behaving right now is very, very, very unprofessional. It makes her look bad. And this is my thing. Like, in the society in which we live in, like I said, they're teaching men not to hold women accountable, especially when they're wrong. You as a woman, you have to bring some sort of value to the table, whether you're a feminine and submissive woman. And you realize that if you possess those traits, you're of God. You're allowing God to work his wonder in your life because we live in a demonic world. So if we live in a demonic world and you allow God to position you in the best way possible in order to become the best woman to your man in the future, or if you're already married, the best wife that you can be to your husband right now, you're blessed. Don't ruin it. Don't allow the facial expressions of this woman and what she says to sway you towards demonic activity. Let's continue. Now, I'm not saying that she's demonic, no, but she's allowing, to an extent, the devil to work in her path. Why? Because she's not seeing the good that man brought. No one's perfect, but if you understand the message, you understand the message. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Let's continue.
But I can
That
only
is
from the outside looking
completely
in.
false. That is, I'm going to have to go completely against that.
Okay. So why do you think people were listening?
I think people were listening to him because we're in a up society and he was confirmation bias for their uppery. That's why. The same reason that people are mad at me because I'm affirming a truth that's inconvenient to their right. So
and this is another thing I want to say. When you have women like her who try to use cussing or cursing, however you say it, as a way to make a point. That's how you already know that their argument is illogical. It's emotional. Because anybody who has to make a point understands that you don't need to cuss, you don't need to curse to make a point. When you need to do those things, you're already in a state of emotion. And when you're in a state of emotion, you're gonna become erratic. You're gonna do erratic things. You're gonna say erratic things. She's lost. They're having a whole they're having a whole conversation, and she's lost because she's getting emotional based off of the way she's cussing.
They're like, that bitch, she's making me feel some type of way. I don't want to feel some type of way. And who the is she to make me feel some type of way? But the way you feel that I'm making you feel is because it's a truth that you know. But you
I agree.
have to deal with it, and you're not ready to deal with it. Because if you deal with it, it's going to bring up a whole bunch of other shit probably that you have to deal with. And you don't necessarily have the support system around you or the tools to be able to do so. And that is the fault of our whole social network, right? But this idea of holding women accountable, to me, it's a false equivalency.
Because it sounds, the reason why he came.
How is it? So are you saying it's a false equivalency because we as people should be able to hold each other accountable regardless of whether they're men or women? Like what's your point? What's your point?
Up is because you said that, and this is only me seeing clips, like highlights of his work.
Oh, I've seen a lot.
Okay.
What have you seen? What have you seen? Please explain it to me so I can understand. What have you seen? What have you seen?
So you're probably more of an expert in this space than me. But it did seem like you were saying the thing of like women having these like crazy expectations that they don't necessarily apply to themselves. And it felt like he was trying to do the same thing from the clips I saw.
But the thing is that I'm basing that on value systems, integrity, right? Your ethics. He's basing that on materialism, on.
So are you saying he's basing it on materialism because he tries to encourage men to increase their income and tells men if you don't increase your income, majority of women in America aren't going to take you seriously? And then let's go back for 2 seconds, guys. I want to see what she said she bases hers off of. Go back like 15 seconds.
I'm basing that on value systems, integrity, right? Your ethics. He's basing.
So she said she's basing it off of value system, ethics, and integrity. Okay. In which sense, though?
That on materialism, on your outward appearance, and on status.
Status, okay, this is the thing, though. You're trying to compare apples to oranges. For men, in this society, bro, if you don't have some sort of status, if you don't have money backed by your name, if you're not known, you're not going to get respect. Like I said, we're living two different realities as men and women, bro. As a man, you have to bring some sort of value to the marketplace. You don't bring value as a man, you're not getting respect, point blank, period. So you can get mad at that, but that's just the fact. You can already tell you're getting mad because of the way that you're overreacting. You're cussing. That's how I already know you lost, because you're acting emotional. You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. It literally doesn't make any sense. Now you're talking about you're going based off of integrity. That's like a woman coming to me and telling me, oh, I don't like guys based off of the way they look. I pay attention to personality more. That's cap. That's cap. I have to look a certain way. I have to bring some sort of value to the table for you to even give me an opportunity to know my personality. Now, doesn't personality contribute to integrity for you to be able to know how that person is in the way that they are and the way that they behave and the way that they move? So what you're saying doesn't make any sense, literally. It literally doesn't make any sense. If we're to talk about it, if we're to think about it. Come on, man. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Let's continue.
So he was doing what I think is a very big disservice to folks, because he's aligning relationships on surface things.
Like what?
Versus grounding them in the depths of our spirit. And those surface things that he was, basing things on, ultimately end up
See, this is the thing, and I'm going to be real. In situations like this, it takes a masculine man to be able to put her in her place, bro, or put women like her in their place. You're talking about he's basing relationships off of surface things. If you're going to say that, you have to back it up with evidence. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong, but you got to be able to defend yourself because the interviewer might not be able to be on guard to be able to pick up on certain things like that and be like, what are you talking about? But in situations like this, somebody has to be able to hold you accountable for what you're saying. How does that apply to what you're saying? What surface thing? So status is surface? Because I'm going to hold you accountable. We on this channel, we as woke members of the Most High, we're going to hold you accountable. So are you considering status to be surface things? So for you as a man to be able to build your value, for people to respect you, for people to see your worth, that's surface? Make it make sense for me so I can understand. What do you consider to be surface? Men being able to put themselves in a position to be able to make more money, especially with the society we're living in right now. Inflation is at an all-time high, right? Gas prices are expensive, right? You had your buddy Biden putting out a gas tax to be able to reduce gas prices, right? Rent, people are not able to afford rent anymore. Some people are going homeless. What else? Mortgages, right? You have mortgage forbearance. You had the rent forbearance too, or the rent moving back a couple of months for people to be able to repay back their rent, and so on and so forth. Food is going up the roof. You know what I'm saying? Chicken used to be $5 for rotisserie. One second, it's $8 now. So you have to be a high value man for you to even put yourself in a position to be able to make more money. Well, not even in a position for you to make more money, but for you to be even have opportunity to deal with women. Whether it's high value spiritually, high value mentally, high value emotionally, high value physically, high value financially, bro, you have to level up. So what you're saying doesn't make any sense. That just goes to show you. Let's continue, man.
Agreed. And being about just things that don't carry you through when you really are dealing with life. Your looks, your money, your status. When your mom dies, what's that gonna, like, it may mean that you can bury her in the coffin that you want. If your child is born with a disability, it may mean that you can get them the care that you want because you have some money, but...
So talk to the lower frequency.
The high vibration is I'm emotional right now. The high vibration...
Yeah, we know you're emotional. We know you're emotional. You've been emotional since the minute you cussed. So how does that contribute toward... So my question to you, Amanda, right? Miss Amanda, how are those things in which Kevin Samuels is talking about stopping one from being high value? Or how are those things stopping you from... Or how are those things in general contributing towards them being surface things? Trivial. Now, yes, you made some valiant points, right? Talking about like if your mom dies or if your child is born with a disability. It's that same money. It's that same status that you could potentially use as leverage to be able to get people to help you, that you're going to be able to use to take care of your children or take care of your mother if she's sick in the hospital, right? So please make it make sense. What's your point? What point are you trying to make? You're trying to put down another man because it disaligns with your values, right? Or it doesn't align with your values. But in all reality, he's telling men the truth. He's holding women accountable for their mistakes. Just the same way if you are a man and you're a bigger dude and you're fat, you need to get in the gym. Men hold each other accountable every single day. So why do you have a point of contempt if a man holds a woman accountable? Because we know y'all as women, y'all are not gonna hold each other accountable. Y'all are gonna be close to each other, girl, da 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 da. But then behind each other's backs, you're gonna be like, yo, she's a whale. She's fat as hell. Something like that. Y'all are gonna disrespect each other. Oh, she's so ugly. Y'all don't hold each other accountable. But then y'all talk about, oh yeah, I wish somebody could hold me accountable. But then when somebody holds you accountable, you take offense to it. You get pissed. You get angry. You get emotional. You get erratic. Start throwing glass all over the place. Start yelling, cussing people out. Stop it. Stop it. Let's continue, man.
And is you consistently challenging yourself to live in light. And all those things that he was talking about are not about that.
All right.
It's not about that. Because you want to be with somebody that loves what's inside of you. This is a shell.
You just said you want to be with somebody who loves what's inside of you. I completely agree with that. But the thing is that you, what is inside of you has to be cultivated always. That's why we as men, we understand from the minute we were born, bro. We have to self improve. We have to level up. We have to get better, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. We have to level up. We've been held, especially as a man, we've been held accountable since we were little boys. If we messed up, we got our butt kicked by our parents, by teachers, by grandparents, by uncles and aunts, by random people. With childless women, it's a whole different reality, bro. You've been told since you were a little girl that you're a princess. Every man that's within your vicinity should deserve, that should feel blessed to be, and that's not true. Should feel blessed to be in your presence. Feel blessed if you give them an opportunity. That's why you have so many different ways in which women monetize themselves to be able to make money, like OnlyFans, because she knows that if she's down bad at any point in time, she's always going to find a rich simp that's going to pay for the lifestyle. When you're down bad as a man, who's going to help you? Nobody. Nobody's going to be there to help you. Nobody's going to be there to help you. So what is wrong? And Kevin Samuel's trying to advise people to especially men, self-improve, level up, and become the person that God has called you to become. Right? You have a lot of men in this space, especially in this red pill spiritual space with God, where we talk about the truth, that will try to tell you as a man, and this is no shot to anybody in the manosphere because you guys are all my brothers, man. But, and I'm specifically talking about not only the people that are supporters, but the content creators. The reality is that you as a man, you're born with value. You just have to cultivate it. Listen to me carefully. Every man is born with value. Every man has value within them. You have value within you. You have to cultivate it though. You're like a farmer. You plant a seed. You have to make sure you water it. You have to make sure that there's sun getting into it so it can grow. That's your value. Now, women, from the minute you're 18, you already had your value. Not saying that you weren't born with value. You were born with value, but your value's always been there. You didn't have to cultivate that value as a woman because it was always there. As a man, you got to cultivate it. You don't cultivate that value is never going to blossom. That value is never going to be there. It's completely, we live two different realities between men and women, bro. That's the truth. Let's continue.
Mm-hmm. Like you want to be with friends. Like that's really what it is. But we are in a society that is so focused on this outward appearance, image appearance, et cetera, et cetera.
I agree.
And I'm in a business that's based on, right? Like in showbiz and Hollywood, like it's so much about like how you look. I remember Keenan Ivory Wayans, like on Last Comic Standing, like telling Aida Rodriguez that her yellow dress was distracting from her telling jokes. And I was like, that's a you problem, bruh. Like
I agree. It might be a you problem, but the thing is that you also have to understand in situations like this, a lot of women will do that just to be able to get the attention and validation off of other men. So sometimes people know what they're doing. And I'm not saying that him saying that is right, but it's just like women trying to talk about, oh yeah, they're being oppressed sexually because of them wearing the stuff that they're wearing. It's like, bro, you can't control what a man is going to do. A man's going to do whatever a man's going to do. But if you can try to limit it, do that. Do it. Now somebody say, oh yeah, you're trying to oppress my sexual liberty. Da, 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 da. Those are the types of people you got to be very, very careful of because those are the people that are showing you deep down inside they're not wife material, bro. It is what it is, bro.
That's a you problem. She's being funny and you talking about a yellow dress because you're attracted to her and you can't hear her funniness over your dick.
That just goes to show you, bro. No cap. And this goes to show you. A woman will literally disrespect somebody who's deceased just to be able to push her aims, bro. That to me is just disgusting, right? Let's use this video as an example just to really understand what the main message is. When somebody is promoting the high value lifestyle through Kevin Samuels, right? Promoting that. When it comes to men, he's doing that so men can be able to use it as an opportunity to be able to level up, become the person that God has called you to become. Because like I said before, we all as men have value. But you got to cultivate it out. You don't cultivate it out, you're losing 100%. So don't allow women like her to try to shame you or shame people like Kevin Samuels, rest in peace to him, because he was trying to promote a positive message. We live in a demonic world now. So when we have positive people that are trying to promote positive messages, keep them close to your heart and use it as an opportunity to level up and become the greatest version of yourself. If you understand, it's because you're woke. If you don't understand, you're not woke. Just come into this live stream video. If you like this video, make sure you go spam, that like button, leave comments, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel at WokeEbucks, WOKEEBUKS. Tap the notification bell to get all the latest videos that I post. Patreon link will be down in the description below, and so will social media links. So make sure you go give those a check. Without further ado, it's gonna be in this video. This is Woke.